House for the President's address. The Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority has raised concern over the recurring reports of service stations selling contaminated fuel. The story also coming up here on Newsplus. We shall also look at courts where 2 British citizens have been jailed for smuggling dagga into Zimbabwe. And in sport, we look at the movers and shakers in the Premier Soccer League. And now in news in great detail, President Emmerson Mnangagwa today presided over the Pat-Out Challenge at the Royal Golf Club in Harare. The purpose of the event is to raise funds for students under the Ed-Unza scholarship. This occasion marked the 2nd edition following last year's event. Many corporates signed up to participate at this year's edition compared to last year. In response to the President's call for support, the President took to the golf course, signaling the start of what was a fantastic day. Tafaris Wichiwe gives us more.
The country's #1 golfer. Welcome.
What better way for the President to find sanctuary than an escape into coveted golf course away from his hectic schedule? Only that for this occasion, there is a noble cause, the search for a birdie as it were.
So right now, we're looking good. Team ED is looking good. Yes, your team. Oh my gosh!
First was the national anthem, before 2 teams were formed. Then, there was President Mnangagwa with Kudakwashi Tagwire forming Team ED. On the other was NASA Chief Executive Dr. Charles Shava partnering Mr. G. And then there was the chit-chat to ease the Premier jitters, if there were any. On top of the banter during the practice, Team Jimpofu vowed to get the better of Team ED. And the President could not be outdone.
President, the President is not full. What's the name of your team? Shimofu. Shimofu versus Team ED.
All this for a good cause. The Ed-Unza Scholarship Trust was established by President Mnangagwa in 2019. It supports academically talented but underprivileged students, and by May this year, about 77 students were benefiting from the program. The scholarship covers both tuition and boarding fees. To date, the trust has raised over 1.5 million United States dollars and 19 million ZiG to assist disadvantaged learners. So, just how much will be raised for this? Perhaps the ED hole in one moment, using his hand apparently, could just help pay the bills. But you could forgive him for his no-swing show, as he was requested to demonstrate his natural talent and to add humor. He did that.
And I just want you to feel, you won't need the glove just yet. I just want you to show everybody natural talent. Don't knock it in the hole. Like last time.
The President's first effort came agonizingly close to conclude the practice session.
I love it. Look at that, folks. Look at that, folks. Oh!
Team Jimpofu fell short of their targets, but Team ED quickly seized the opportunity.
Folks, watch this putt. Watch this putt. Watch this putt.
On the sidelines, Royal Golf Club Harare CEO Simon Murungweni said they registered more corporates compared to last year's edition.
It's bigger. There's a lot of corporates who came in to support the Presidential Golf Day. From the last time I heard, I think we were about 35, 40 teams, which is around 160 players.
With Team ED clinching victory, it's a contest that could be remembered for the President's long drive. So, the next time you hit the links, remember, you are in good company. The President and executives have been here too, finding their own rhythm in the game of golf. Tavares Bachue for ZTN Prime.
Meanwhile, the president is hosting the Ed-Unza Golf Prize giving dinner at State House this evening. The golf day is in aid of raising funds to meet expenses of students enrolled both in Zambia and Zimbabwe under the Ed-Unza scholarship. The scholarship commemorates the president's days at the University of Zambia, Unza, where he pursued his law studies after a long spell in prison before Zimbabwe's independence. We now cross over to State House for the president's address to delegates.
It is my sincere pleasure to welcome you all here at State House to celebrate the resounding success of our charity golf day and this dinner. My brief golf session this morning was very refreshing. With practice, I hope to one day join you for the full 18-hole round. Is that correct? I am most grateful to all those who came out today in support of this worthy charitable cause. This evening's event reaffirms our shared commitment to uplifting the lives of vulnerable children in our community. It is a testament to the transformative power of compassion and unity of purpose in addressing the socio-economic needs of those from underprivileged backgrounds or families. From a biblical perspective, Hebrews 13 verse 16 says, don't check. And I quote, do not forget to do good and to share what you have, because God is pleased with these kinds of sacrifices. End of quote. As I've said, please don't go and check. Similarly, Proverbs 19 verse 17 states that, I quote, anyone who gives to the needy lends to God and will be repaid in full for the good you will have done. End of quote.
That is President Emmerson Mnangagwa addressing delegates at the Ed-Unza Golf Prize giving dinner at State House. And now we cross over to our correspondent, Eben Mabunda, who joins us live from State House. Good evening, Eben, and thank you for joining us. Tell us more about the Ed-Unza Scholarship and its significance.
Good evening. Of course, we're right here at the State House, where it is that we've seen the formal proceedings of this very fundraising dinner, of course, making progress. We saw the Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Honorable Frederick Shava, giving his discourse and, of course, introducing the President. He also took to the podium and spoke with regards to the significance of this very event. Now, it would be important to note that the Ed-Unza scholarship was started in 2019, targeting underprivileged school children as well as high performers performing beyond 13 points where the advanced level of education is concerned, and of course providing education in Zambia. But what has happened is that it has since grown beyond Zambia, with scholarships also being provided even here in Zimbabwe. And what we do know at this point is that they currently have $2 million in their coffers and have been able to take care of 78 students, 21 of them having actually started their first year in this 2025. The intention as well as the plan would be to increase that to 100 students by 2026. So what they're looking at raising at this particular point is $10 million by 2026. by my own interpretation, that could translate to between 5 million per year to 6 million per year between 2025 and 2026. So the expectation is that this very evening, about $5 million is expected to be raised. Now, I've noticed that the President's Golf Club, which he used in the golf tournament this morning, just went up for over 45,000 United States dollars. Auctioning is still taking place and bids are going up, and the stakes continue to go up and thicken as, of course, the proceedings of the auctions are taking place for different other products, as different well-wishers are a part and parcel of the proceedings this very evening.
Thank you, Eben, for those insights. Moving on with our stories. Meanwhile, President Emmerson Mnangagwa is expected to attend the Liberation Movement Summit underway in Johannesburg, South Africa, bringing together leaders of former liberation movements from Southern Africa to discuss socio-economic development, ideological reaffirmation, and collaborative solutions to regional and global issues. The three-day summit is being hosted by South Africa's ruling African National Congress. President Mnangagwa's attendance highlights the country's commitment to regional cooperation and solidarity.
Today we have a discussion that is going to be led by former heads of states, President Mbeki and President Chisano, who will be talking about the region, about the developments in the region, developments in the world, of course. And on Saturday, the 26th, and Sunday, the 27th, we're going to have the real serious discussions capped with the heads of states meeting or the leaders meeting on the 27th. This summit comes at a very important time in the region and in the world, because of the various geopolitical developments that we are observing. And it is important that the leaders of the liberation movements take stock of these developments. We as the embassy, we are indeed very honored and privileged and looking forward to receiving His Excellency the President, who we are expecting to arrive on Saturday, the 26th.
The Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority says it is concerned with the recurring complaints by motorists over the quality of fuel being sold by some fuel retailers in the country. The authority said motorists whose vehicles have been damaged by contaminated fuel purchased from blacklisted service stations may have legal grounds to seek compensation. More in the following report.
Imagine filling up your vehicle's tank only to have it turn into a nightmare. That's exactly what happened to Peter Chamunorwa after purchasing contaminated fuel from a local service station. His vehicle has been malfunctioning ever since, leaving him frustrated. He reported the incident to Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority ZERA, and the issue is currently before the courts.
Pakutsvaga compensation hapana futi help yandakawana from the service station. Hapana help yavandipa even up to now, hapana chandati ndawana.
Contaminated fuel incidents have decreased compared to last year, but some service stations are providing complainants with assurances and false hope as they delay until a new supply of fuel arrives, subsequently becoming uncooperative and leaving motorists frustrated. ZERA tested the fuel and found out that it was approximately 70% water and the fuel 30%. Peter's only option is the courts, but he can't afford a lawyer.
But izvezvi zvakutinetsa manje kuti tiende kutrial because lawyer anoda kubhadhara. Saka kazhinji isu semadrivers ndo patiri kuaffectirwa motikari dzedu pakuti kesi kana yakunzi ichienda kwayakuenda isa hapana zvatichakwanisa kuita.
By the time reports are submitted to the authority, it is often too late, as the service station in question will have already received a new batch of fuel, resulting in the authorities' investigative processes reaching a dead end.
Ordinarily, if you fuel up your car, the fuel problems will almost be immediate. You start seeing that the drivability of your vehicle has changed. Either it's giving you jerks or it's, the idling is hard idling. and at times it's actually very difficult to start it. So once you experience that, you should immediately report to the service station and at the same time report to the authority so that we can take samples.
Contaminated fuel can cause costly damage. Mechanic Carrington Kunaka explains the risks and what motorists can look out for.
Total motor diesel. Inokwanisa ku misbehavior like smoke. Because fuel here contaminated, my injectors. Ni zvinozocontribute to kupamba. Endo same nemota dzepetrol. Pamota yepetrol tokwanisa kunge inotanga share power.
Zera urges all drivers to check the condition of their vehicles after refueling. If it's misfiring, drivers should immediately report to the service station and Zera so they can investigate and ensure everyone's safety. For ZTN Prime, I am Tafara Sibuchwe.
You're watching Newsplus. Join us after this break.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on earth.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. Wakatarisa munhu so Erika like where you are sitting. Ndozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako yo afro chakuti ndo music manje no Zimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti chindevere kana mumwe mutaure muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe. Ndiwo rupawo rwako. Ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on Newsplus. 3 new magistrates have been sworn in, bringing the total number of magistrates in Zimbabwe to 247. Authorities hope the appointments will ease the country's growing case backlog, especially as courts begin embracing digitalization. Our reporter Faith Rutendo Nyaude has the details.
One hand on the Bible and one in the air, the 3 new magistrates made a solemn declaration. They affirmed their commitment to faithfully, impartially, and diligently execute the duties of a magistrate.
Impartially and diligently execute to the best of my abilities the duties of the office of magistrate. So help me God.
With the latest additions, the country now boasts a total of 247 magistrates, 98 of them men and the rest women. The Judiciary Service Commission said the new appointments are part of a broader strategy to address the backlog of cases which continues to burden lower courts.
More magistrates, it means we have the capacity to deal with cases expeditiously. It means every court is capacitated to deal with cases and we will be able to fight the backlog of cases.
Beyond new appointments, the judiciary is also entering a new phase, which is digitization. In October, Masvingo Magistrates Court and courts in Matabeleland South will join the e-justice revolution. With these developments, citizens can access information and participate in court proceedings remotely. The electronic systems is expected to significantly reduce processing times and case backlogs.
Next, for the next 2 scheduled provinces, that is Masvingo and Matabeleland South, we have started our publicity campaigns. Like today, it's a Friday, we call it the IECMS Friday.
The rollout of the program began in July with a pilot phase and is now moving into full implementation, with Mashonaland Central and Matabeleland North provinces already live. Early signs suggest improved speed and transparency in handling court records.
And it's proving to be a very good campaign, successful campaign. It's overwhelming. The citizens are accepting IECMS, and I think we have really transitioned well in that area.
But the challenges remain. Infrastructure, internet access, and trainings are still hurdles for further integration. For now, though, the focus is on ensuring the new magistrates hit the ground running and that the justice system becomes faster, fairer, and more accessible for all. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Faith Nyaude in Harare.
Now on to some health issues. Zimbabwean nurses working in the United Kingdom have partnered with the Ministry of Health and Childcare to roll out a resuscitation training program aimed at bridging the skills gap among local healthcare professionals. The training is being spearheaded by the Zimbabwe Midwives and Nurses Association UK in collaboration with the Global Health Partnership, which provided funding for the program. A total of 65 trainers, 133 trainees, and 3 team leaders from Sally Mugabe Central Hospital and Parenyator Group of Hospital took part in the initiative. Zimbabwe Midwives and Nurses Association UK co-founder Tinotenda Manyere speaks.
So we sat together and thought how best we could give back at our homes, because when we are in the diaspora, the moment that we meet, we are family. So resuscitation was identified as one of the cases, because here, when we train here at in Zimbabwe, normally we don't get these refresher courses.
Tinotenda Manyere was speaking at the close of the 2-week resuscitation training at Sally Mugabe Central Hospital earlier today. Resuscitation refers to the medical process of reviving or restoring vital functions, especially in cases of cardiac arrest, respiratory failure, or other life-threatening emergencies. Sally Mugabe Hospital surgeon in charge of accident and emergency department, Dr. Elliot Chikati, says training nurses in resuscitation saves lives.
Many a times we do have patients who need resuscitation in emergency room when the doctor is not in and the nurse is available. In that circumstances, we call upon those who are trained to take up the leadership role and save lives in the department. Even in the various stations and wards, you realize that we do encounter several cases which need resuscitation.
Zimbabwe is implementing one of the largest solar for health initiatives in partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. The initiative is aimed at addressing service disruption in public health facilities due to power outages by setting solar systems as a backup to allow uninterrupted power supply. According to figures released by the UNPD, the initiative has solarized about 1,000 health facilities in the country.
Zimbabwe implements the largest solar for health initiative that is managed by UNDP globally, and as we speak, about 8 countries are coming to understudy here. Honorable Minister, just to let you know, the government of Nigeria is sending a team here to come and understudy how the solar for health initiative has been rolled out in Zimbabwe, and with about 7 other countries that have already initiated their intention to do this. The impact of the solar for health initiative is quite profound. One, it provides uninterrupted power supply, where we've covered over 1,000 health facilities under the leadership of the ministry, and also it reduces carbon emission because we are no more using fossil fuel, and also it builds system resilience.
As Zimbabwe accelerates its transition towards a digital economy and smart city status, small towns are not being left behind. From driving digital banking to intelligent utilities, technology is beginning to transform service delivery, and small businesses are feeling the impact. In Gokwe, prepared smart water meters are proving to be more than just a billing tool. They are helping small business owners save money, increase efficiency, and build big customer confidence. Our business reporter Melissa Chatikobo gives us the details.
Taitosangana nechallenge yekuti munhu anozokudzwa kuti ndakaisa sipo mumvura saka sipo yana ndakaisa mumeso bhodhi yese ndashaya mvura taitozoenda kuma-next kunokumbirawo kana bhaketi kuti apedzise then toenda mucheka.
In the heart of Gokwe, a relaxing bath was once a luxury that came with a gamble. Would the water flow or would it dry up? It's a scenario that once haunted visitors to Tall Trees Lodge.
Madezi ekutanga taitosendegwa pama-emails kuti paTall Trees pakanaka but challenge ndeyemvura but kubva patakatanga kuita ma-prepaid hatisati tawana challenge yemvura.
But this has changed. After the installation of prepaid water meters, water problems are past memories. Water costs have been reduced from $250 United States to $60 per month.
Pakutanga tisati tane prepaid taibhadhara mari yakawanda. Taida kana 70 cubics. Saka taidziwana nenhingikiri ne250. For now ta prepaid yakutipawo kuti tuone kuti mvura yedu tiri kushandisa yakawanda sei uye tichitengawo nemari plus zvava haichadhuri. In fact mvura haichadhuri.
And it's not just lodges. Gokwe's informal business are bubbling back to life thanks to reliable water supply. With improved planning, Tadiwa Zingoni, who manages a local car wash, can now confidently schedule bookings without the fear of unexpected water cuts disrupting operations.
Apa kungenoseva kunzi kungonyadzozati apapa hauzodarikidzi sezvataita kudhara paya zvotonozodarikidza mvura yako kuti pozoenda unonzi shamwari mvura yako iri pa30 iwongo chidei 15 haizoiti iyo unozoti kana ndadisa 15 ndajusa ikapera yapera.
Residents and businesses across Gokwe town have seen the benefit of prepaid water meters.
Because kudhara paya vanhu vaigona kungoitwa vanhu vaisa ndoridha mamita wongofungidzira kuti apa panogona kunge pachishandiswa mvura yakawanda zvakadii wozongotarisa wonzi iwe une chikwereti chakakurisa asi iwe pamwe wanga usipo usingatoshandise mvura iyoyo asi iko zvino ndikaenda kuHarare ndikadzoka ndinongowana mvura yangu iri iyoyo yandakasiya iripo.
Kuona kuti masystem akaiswa iko zvino akanaka nokuti iko zvino tinopedza mwedzi ne$10 inopedza mwedzi but kare waitoziva kuti waitogona kubhadhara $30 mwedzi wese.
Like ndinoringa kutoziva kuti pamwedzi unofanira kuseva mari yangu yakati ende mvura yangu unofanira kuziva kuti zvino yakupera unofanira kuziva kuti mvura yangu tichashandisa kubva apa kusvika apa pandiri kuwana mari yangu.
From increased business efficiency to better household planning, prepaid smart water meters are quietly reshaping life in Gokwe.
Zimbabwe has rebased its GDP and also seeing new opportunities in the economy. Having smart initiatives that benefit residents, SMEs, and also big companies is important. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chatkobo in Gokwe.
Moving on with our stories, more than 9,000 voters are expected to partake in the 26 July by-elections for Ward 4 Chiredzi Rural District Council, Ward 10 Chikomba RDC and Ward 6 Marondera RDC. The vacancies arose following the death of the incumbents in Ward 10 Chikomba Rural District and Ward 6 Marondera Rural District respectively. Ward 4 Chiredzi was a result of a recall by ZANU-PF party. Mukandi Tafadzwa of ZANU-PF and Mechenji Tawanda, an independent candidate who contest for Chikomba RDC Ward 10 post. The battle for Chiredzi RDC vacancy is between Macheke Joseph and independent candidate and Pigelele Austin of the ruling party. Zinyanga Richard, an independent candidate, will go head-to-head with Tongawashe Fiona of ZANU-PF for the Ward 6 Marondera vacancy. The Electoral Commission says it is well prepared for the by-elections.
We have by-elections tomorrow, the 26th of July, 2025. And the reasons for the by-elections are that we have vacancies obtaining in Ward 10 of Chikomba Rural District Council and Ward 6 of Marondera District Council, which arose as a result of incumbents passing on, that is death. And then we do have one in Ward 4 of Shirezi RDC, where the incumbent was recalled by the sponsoring party, which is ZANU-PF. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have vacancies for Wards 10 and 14 of Kutu Rural District Council and Ward 19 of Mazoe Rural District Council, making a total of 6. All material and human resources are in place. Ward election officers, deputy ward election officers, presiding officers, and polling officers for all electoral centers have been recruited and trained.
The ruling party, ZANU-PF, has scooped 3 local authority seats in uncontested wards of Kutu RDC Ward 10, Kutu RDC Ward 14, and Mazoe RDC Ward 19.
The last 3 vacancies were uncontested after nomination. That is Mazoe Rural District Council, Kutu Rural District Council, and the Marondera District Councils. There was no contestation there. Now, contesting candidates. The 3 vacancies where by-elections are taking place tomorrow, that is 26th of July, they have 2 candidates each. Please note that Ward 4, Shirezi Rural District Council, had initially 4 candidates before 2 of those candidates withdrew.
Newsplus takes a break. Stay tuned. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us on Newsplus. Now we give you today's courts update with Yokai Karengezeka.
2 British nationals, Tihaise Darling Elisha, aged 18, and Taylor Tamara Simon, aged 20, both from Birmingham, were today sentenced to 6 years in prison for attempting to smuggle 66.9 kg of daga through Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport. Harare Regional Magistrate Marewa Nazogofa initially sentenced the duo to 9 years but suspended 3 years on condition of good behavior. According to the state, Zimra officials working with detectives conducted a search of the suspect's luggage upon their arrival at the airport. They recovered 124 packets of compressed daga weighing 66.9 kg from the 3 suitcases tagged with the accused names. The pair had denied the charges, arguing that they thought they were carrying electrical goods. Moving on, a 70-year-old Mutare businessman, Kuma Natkwa Shingadia, has appeared in court facing allegations of fraudulently altering the shareholding structure of Shingadia Furniture Mart Private Limited and misappropriating 200,000 United States dollars in rental income. Complainant in the case, Pavik Bako Shingadia, aged 33, is the executor of his late father, Bako Rajshin Shingadia's estate, who was a brother to the accused person. Shingadia was granted bail of $200 by Magistrate Maruana Jogofa. In February 2022, he allegedly forged and signed a fake special board resolution to increase the company's authorized shares from 100,000 to 400,000 ordinary shares. The accused then allocated himself 280,000 ordinary shares from the newly authorized shares, effectively altering the company's ownership structure in his favor. To legitimize the changes, Kumar reportedly handed the forged resolution to Denford Mavunga, instructing him to register the alterations with the Registrar of Companies. He also allegedly instructed Mavunga to remove the late Bakul Shingadia and Vanraj Kason Shingadia from the company's records as shareholders. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Yokai Karingazeka.
Now for your weather update to get you prepared for the weekend. We are joined live by James Ngoma from the Met Department. Good evening, James, and thank you so much for joining us on Newsplus. Now tell us, what is the weather looking like as we get into the weekend?
Thank you very much for that question. Looking at the weekend ahead, we've had generally sunny conditions for much of the past week. And as we get into the weekend, we're expecting the start off to be rather cold in the morning over much of the area. We're expecting slight chance of frost in areas such as Umatopos, Gweru, as well as Manicaland, where we had a bit of ground frost as of this morning. But as we get out of Saturday, we're expecting cooling southeasterlies to start drifting into the southern parts of the country. This should just give us brief cloudy periods over the southern parts of the country. That's covering your Chirezi as well as Mwenezi districts as the clouds start filtering in. But as we get into Sunday, we're expecting more clouds to drift into those southern parts of the country, giving us cloudy conditions over Masvingo, Matabeleland South as well as Manicaland. With that, we're expecting a few touches of drizzle, especially over the eastern highlands because of the orographic lift of these clouds. And with that, we advise the public to please keep warm, especially in those areas. We are still expecting a bit of moisture as we get into Monday as well, because we're still expecting that southeasterly push. But later on in the week, it should get warmer across board.
Thank you, James, for that weather update. Now let's take a look at the stories from around the world. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has admitted that his country and the UK had their disagreements, but to use a cricket analogy, insisted his side always played with a straight bet. As he and PM Sir Keir Starmer held a press briefing at the signing of the new trade deal. The trade deal sees zero tariffs on many goods, but did not address the biggest issue, namely the UK's planned carbon tax, which Indian experts have warned could wipe out the benefits of the deal and is set to impact hugely on the global South country steel, fertilizer and cement industries. The tax on emissions, also planned by the EU, is seen by critics as a move to hit global South nations hard, despite those same global North nations haven't been responsible for the vast majority of historical emissions themselves.
हमारे संबंधों का एक ऐतिहासिक दिन है। आज हम दोनों देश मिलकर के पारस्परिक लाभकारी FTA और डबल कंट्रीब्यूशन कन्वेंशन इसको संपन्न करने जा रहे हैं। ये अपने आप में भारत और यूके भावी पीढ़ी के लिए एक बहुत मजबूत रास्ता तैयार कर रहा है। व्यापार और उद्योग के क्षेत्र में ये एक नया अध्याय जुड़ रहा है।
A total of 9 Chinese cities were accredited as international wetland cities on Thursday during the opening of the 15th meeting of the Conference of the Contracting Parties to the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands COP15 held in Zimbabwe's resort, the city of Victoria Falls, bringing the number of such cities in China to 22, the highest in the world. Moving on with our stories, the United Nations has warned that more than 1 million children in Gaza are suffering from starvation, with deaths from malnutrition rising by the day. Farhan Haq, deputy spokesperson for UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, was speaking at a press briefing in response to the worsening humanitarian crisis in the war-ravaged enclave. The Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said UN teams have managed to collect food from several crossings However, the scale of need remains overwhelming.
The Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs reports that UN teams were able to collect food aid, mainly flour, from Kerem Shalom and Zikim crossings yesterday. But our partners note that more than 1 million children are bearing the brunt of deepening starvation and malnutrition, with reports of death from malnutrition increasing by the day. According to our partners working in nutrition, in the first 2 weeks of July, nearly 5,000 of the 56,000 children under the age of 5 who were screened for malnutrition in the Gaza, Deir el-Bala, and Khan Yunis governorates were found to be acutely malnourished. This is a staggering 9% rate, up from 6% in June and just 2.4% in February.
Two coastal provinces in East China, Fujian and Zhejiang, have geared up for the approaching typhoon Francisco by calling ships and fishermen back from the sea, closing sea routes and evacuating people. The two provinces on Thursday activated their level IV emergency response to the typhoon. Local authorities have also dispatched workers to evacuate fish farmers in coastal areas like Dongzhong village in Baby Township.
我们安排6组工作人员分头行动，其中3组前往鱼排，负责动员老弱妇幼先行撤离，并协助加固鱼排；另外3组驻守码头，管控进出港船舶，禁止其出港。
Moving on with our stories, Russian authorities have confirmed that all the 49 people aboard the Angara Airlines and AN-24 crashed in the country's far eastern Amur region were killed and have launched a probe into the cause of the crash. The plane carrying 43 passengers and 6 crew members went down when it approached Tynda Airport. The turboprop aircraft flying from Khabarovsk to Tynda disappeared from radar several kilometers from its destination without sending any distress signals. A search and rescue Mi-8 helicopter later spotted the burning wreckage scattered across densely forested mountainous terrain 15 kilometers from Tynda Airport.
Спасатели МЧС России прибыли до места крушения самолета. Предварительно по осмотру выживших на месте крушения нет.
Stand by for business news. Up next.
This is a people's game. They will be bubbling about this one for weeks and months to come.
Wherever you are, whatever your reason, it's on SuperSport all season long. Reconnect and stay connected to DSTV Compact and get the best football on us.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. Wakatarisa munhu so Erika like where you're sitting. Ndozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako iyo afro chakuti ndo music manje yemuZimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti Chindevere kana mumwe mutaure muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe. Ndiwo rupawo rwako. Ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
In business news, Zimbabwe is solidifying its reputation as a premier destination for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. tourism with the ongoing 15th conference of the parties, COP15, to the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, drawing massive attendance and fully booking Victoria Falls. The bustling resort town has seen unprecedented demand for accommodation, with hotels and lodges operating at full capacity, forcing some delegates to seek lodging in private homes vetted by the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority. Following the assumption of the SADC chairmanship, the nation has proved its worth hosting high-level SADC meetings. In an interview on the sidelines of COP15, tourism and hospitality industry, Minister Barbara Rudzi highlighted the critical role infrastructure plays in boosting tourism traffic.
Accessibility to tourism is key, to Victoria Falls, Wange National Park, and other places that are along this road, be it coming from Bedbridge into Victoria Falls or Harare into Victoria Falls. So the rehabilitation of the road from Blawayo to Victoria Falls is great news to us, and of course the finishing of it all the way to Bedbridge in the near future, it will be great. So it's something that we are happy about, and our gratitude to the government, to His Excellence and his cabinet for okaying the Ministry of Transport to prioritize this road so that accessibility to these facilities and ultimately to Victoria Falls is much easier, particularly for domestic tourism.
Moving on with more business news, the Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe has highlighted the need for the amendment of the act that regulates the authority to be able to deal with new emerging issues. The authority's board chairperson, Dr. Anna Mary Nyakabau, was speaking after a courtesy call on Vice President Kembo Mohadi at his office on Friday. Dr. Nyakabau said the authority is key to government as it helps to protect humans and the environment from harmful effects of radiation, thus urgent need to amend the act. She also said the amendment will help the authority function better in terms of complementing board members and how the authority functions.
We came to meet the Vice President, Honorable Kembo Mohadi, as Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe, because he is our actually minister in terms of overseeing the activities of the Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe. So all the corporate governance issues, policy issues, we were talking to him about it, and he assured us that he's going to look into all our challenges at Radiation Protection Authority of Zimbabwe. The things that we discussed were the Radiation Protection Amendment Act, which is the bill, which we want to make sure that how the Radiation Protection Authority runs is legally ratified by Parliament, and these are some of the things that he reassured us.
The Republic of Belarus is reinforcing Zimbabwe's food system aspirations through providing diverse agricultural machinery delivered in batches throughout the year. The shipment includes over 700 tractors, 80 combine harvesters, and 30 grain carriers. The Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Encius Masuga, said that the relations between Zimbabwe and Belarus have yielded great results and promoted smart agricultural practices. He added that about 30% of wheat will be harvested through the partnership. The bilateral ties are set to aid in increasing the silo capacity storage from 750,000 metric tons to 1.5 million metric tons.
We've been getting combine harvesters from Belarus. There are 80 combine harvesters that will come, and I think over 40 or so are already here and on the roads to contribute to this summer harvest, but more importantly, to the increasing wheat hectarage. So we have been able to transition from summer to winter, winter to summer, simply because we've mechanized the harvesting, and thanks to Belarus, about 30-40% of the wheat harvested is through this partnership with Belarus. 2023 to 2030, we will construct an additional 750,000 metric tons of silo space at 14 sites, which is unprecedented in the history of the country.
Stand by for sports news. Up next.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt not pay.
That guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
In sports news, Simba Boris Isaiah Mufuruta has been elected as chairman of the Premier Soccer League on a 4-year term. Mufuruta narrowly beat Manica Diamonds chairman Masimba Chihuahua in a closely contested election, winning by just 2 votes. Kenneth Mhlope was elected vice chairman unopposed, while Moses Maunganize and Oscar Ndure were elected emergency committee members. Mufuruta says one of his primary objectives is to increase the visibility of the league.
People should know what is PSO. For example, if you look in our rural schools, do kids there know what is PSO? Do they know what is the Premier League? Probably they know teams. Say there's Dynamos, there's Simba Bora, there's Islanders, there's Bikita, etc. But do they know that those teams are part of the Premier League? And what exactly does PSO mean? Okay, what role does it play? If you look at, I've been talking about these rights. Okay. So we want to make sure that we transform that. The PSO is known all over Zimbabwe and beyond. The kids, we would like to see a situation where the PSO is also more involved in some of these things. Like where we have these high school tournaments, primary school tournaments, we need to have representation there so that the people get to know this brand. They get to know, this thing. Our kids must cherish playing in the PSL. Why should these kids know more of the English League, the La Liga, and so on?
Mufuruta also highlighted the importance of maintaining a mutually beneficial relationship with ZIFA.
I'm happy that our constitution at ZIFA says that the chairman of the Premier Soccer League becomes part of the exco. So I'll be sitting there representing the clubs, and I'll be able to take their contributions there, air out our needs. And you see, we need to promote more dialogue. We need to respect each other. We know that we are an affiliate of ZIFA. And who is at the apex of soccer in Zimbabwe? The ZIFA president. And I'm happy that I have got a good relationship with them. I have a good relationship with everyone there at ZIFA. We don't have to be fighting, but we should spend more time sharing ideas on how we can take our soccer.
Meanwhile, in the Zimbabwe Women's Super League election, Platinum Royals chairperson Shido Chizondo was elected the new chairperson. Chizondo defeated Ntokozi Somoyo of Black Rhinos in a 2-horse race. She will be assisted by Louis Mujara as vice chairperson, while Messi Makuwatsine, James Shamuyarira, Mufudza Rugwevera, Sibusise Dube, and Talent Chitaka were elected board members. Moving on with our stories, Dynamos have suspended head coach Saul Chaminuka without pay and benefits pending a disciplinary hearing on charges of poor results and insubordination. This comes 48 hours after Chaminuka was banned by the PSL from sitting on the technical bench for 2 matches. Dynamos have moved swiftly to replace Chaminuka with the club in advanced talks with former Highlanders coach Kelvin Kaindu to take over the head coach role. Kaindu was also sacked by Highlanders last month, is set to take charge of his first match against Chicken Inn at Barberfield Stadium on Sunday. Dynamos are currently second from bottom on the log with just 16 points from 22 points. Here are this weekend PSL fixtures in full. Ngezi Platinum play Tel 1 at Baobab. FC Platinum are away to Green Fuel in Chisumbanje. Kwekwe host ZPC Kariba at Bata, and Moors face off with Herentals at Ngoni on Sunday. Caps United host Highlanders at Rufaro in the headline match of the weekend. Triangle clash with Bikita Minerals at Gibo. Dynamos are away to Chicken Inn at Barberfields, and Manika Diamonds welcome Simbabora to Sakuba. Moving on to some rugby news, Zimbabwe's senior men's rugby player Brian Chang's career continues to rise, as it has been an eventful 3 years from playing for the junior side to conquering Africa with the senior side. Chang has had an eventful 3 years after winning the Rugby Africa Under-20 Bathurst Trophy titles twice in 2022 and 2023, qualifying for the World Rugby Under-20 Trophy 2 years ago, to punching a ticket to the 2027 World Cup with the senior side.
It's been amazing, you know, because the first 2 Under-20 years that I had, we won both of those, and then we qualified for the Under-20 World Trophy. Now same thing again with the Sables. We won back-to-back Africa Cups, and then now qualifying for the World Cup. So it's been an amazing journey, you know. And I can't imagine, you know, any feeling like this. It's been amazing because, like, what the team was saying is, like, we just have to push the agenda now, like, to qualify for World Cup, so we can let the rest of the team, you know, like, so for me, I'm being the next hooker and everything like that. So yeah, just getting ready for that now.
Chang added that his parents have played a huge role in his career, as they have given him the support he needs, adding that he is looking forward to going up against some of his childhood heroes at the 2027 World Cup.
It's amazing having parents like them, you know, having support you in every game, any way it is, you know, having your back, whether it's emotionally or physically, anything like that. So yeah, I'm really lucky to have them. Tackling artists of here, you know, just things like that, things I grew up dreaming of doing.
Premier Netball League outfit Chapungu Queens are on cloud 9 after winning the Find the Ball netball tournament in Botswana. Head coach Francis Pararingira believes the tournament played a huge role in their preparations for the second round of the Premier Netball League, where they are chasing the top prize.
I think they saw what they saw, and that competition, to me, it is a competition with great achievement. Coming here, facing BDF and Joaneng was a great thing, and was a great opportunity for me to polish up my team, so that when I get back home on the second season, we are promising fireworks. Coming here was a great opportunity and a great exposure. To mention, I had such players like Lisa Tanyanywa, who is a new player. Then she managed to scoop the best shooter of the tournament. So I'm so grateful for that.
Team captain Tafadza Matura believes they have learnt a lot and are now looking forward to a strong finish in the local league.
Nemukana wakatikawanirwa kuuya kuno kuBotswana kuzotamba nematimu ekuno zvakatikoshera ende takadzidza zvakawanda. Patichadzokera kuZimbabwe tine zvizhinji zvatakadzidza kuno zvatatisina kusangana nazvo kuZimbabwe zvatichandoita. Tinoda kupa mutenda nemukana iwoyu because toda kuushandisa kuti patinodzokera zvatakawana kuno tindozvishandisa kumba kwatiri kuenda.
That concludes our news bulletin. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsplus. I now leave you with the weather. My name is Francisca Mcheche. Have a pleasant weekend.